Watch me tweet. That's where we're at. Up and running. Got our share. Wrong one. Control C. Newest stream where we are creating a half elf and a half orc. Dungeons and Dragons character creation. Perfect. Now let's see what my notifications are live on the air. Those are old. There, we're up, running. We have one active person watching. I wonder if that might be me. Oh, it is. Screw that noise. Wrong thing. Click. Plus. Double plus, good. So we are going to start out now. We're just basically going through all the different races. So half elf. Let me double check a couple things on my phone first here. You go away. Secondly is Twitter. I got a notification that I was live streaming. Pretty sure I nailed that one. Half elves get +2 charisma. Sorry, I am trying to retweet. One on the phone, one on the computer. Always fun. And 2 other ability scores of your choice increased by 1. Constitution and Dex. Retweet. Alright. Tweeted it on the second account. There we are. Or my own account. 30 feet. 30-foot speed. I do kind of want to get more into playing with a grid and minis for our games, just because I think we have a couple players that would appreciate that. And I'm just making up numbers, and I'm having to remember it. It might be easier, or if I just stop using the numbers quite as well. Sorry, I'm not stuck in my tooth. Sure that looked good. But as a half elf, you do get the dark vision of 60 feet from your Fey or from your elf side. You get Fey ancestry, advantage on saving throws against charm, and no magical sleep. Skill versatility. You gain 2 skill proficiencies of your choice. This is ridiculous. History and performance. You'll see why. I'm coming up here. And again, ridiculous. Common, Elvish, and a language of your choice. Dutch. No, we're not doing Dutch. That's dumb. Dwarven. Sorry. Wife is messaging me. A lot. The reason we're going with this, and now we're going to fill out our skills, I'm going to put my phone over here, can't be touched, is 16. That's sweet. To get the bonus from this, we should do 14 there. Gonna do 8 up here again, and 12. No, let's go. Ooh, dropped it. 10, followed by 12 up here. -1, +3, +2, +1, 0, +1. So now we're going to go to the class that I'm running. I realize that I'm dark again. I'm wondering, give me a second. There we are. It's a little bit better, not great. Sorry. Wife is messaging me so much. Fun, busy times at work. All of us got along. Always happens when you don't want it to. We are doing a bard. Bard. High charisma. Charisma is the bard's casting skill. As the druid, I believe, has wisdom. Bard is all about casting spells via charisma. Got a nice +2 in there. We have 3 total, and they're d8. So start with 10 plus 14 is 24. That's a very solid starting. Hit points. Drop down to our proficiencies. Light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords, as well as lute, drum, and harp. Let's go flute. It gives him a variety of instruments he can play that he's proficient in. Kind of fun. Mainly flavorful. Scroll up here. Go to dexterity and charisma saving throws. Oh my goodness. +5. +5. That is sick. +2 proficiency bonus. Let's finish filling these in. -1, -1. There we are. +2. +1, and 0. Can also fill our initiative right now. It's a +3. And we can choose our equipment first here. I often forget this as I want to get to all the cool stuff that they can do. Rapier, longsword, or simple weapon. Rapier. Diplomats or entertainers pack. Entertainers pack. Lute. Or any other musical instrument. I like a lute. Leather armor and a dagger. Nice little set of options there to go with. So we now will hop into, the first thing that they have you hop into is spellcasting. So we'll go over to our spellcasting page. Zoom in a little bit so we can all see. So we are going to be a 3rd level bard. We know 1, 2 cantrips, and then I'm actually just going to toss it in here for right now, but we know 6 other spells. We have 4 first spell level and 2 second level slots. So we can choose how we want to put this together, because we could do 5 first level spells and 1 second if we wanted to. I'll probably do 4 and 2. But either way works. Spellcasting ability. Charisma. Spell save DC. 8 plus proficiency plus charisma. So 10, 13. Spell attack is plus 5. They can do ritual casting. They can say, give themselves a focus for their casting if they want. But I'm going to leave that up to the player. So I'll head back here so we can add in more traits. There we are. Wonder if I should move myself to the other side in the future. Bardic inspiration. You can inspire others with words or music as a bonus action. Let's just do all that in one sentence. As a bonus action. Player whom you inspire can use a d6 to add to attack, ability check, or saving throw in the next 10 minutes. Basically, give them more confidence. That's what the bard's about. So that's the first one. That's both things for first level. We'll go back like normal and do the spells at the end, just because they're at the very end of the book. Sorry, itchy neck. Sore back from workout. Jack of. Oh yeah, I forgot to do one thing. We have some proficiencies to choose, but we don't for the bard. So the bard doesn't actually have any proficiencies to choose. So we're going to actually flip back really quickly to our backgrounds. This is going to be another entertainer. And acrobatics and performance. Since we got to choose performance before, we're going to go with persuasion as well. Jack of all trades, if you remember the expertise that a rogue gets, really simple. You can add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check. Oh, that doesn't include your proficiency bonus. I was off on that one. It must be something further down the line here. So I'm just going to fill these in quickly. Plus 5, plus 3, plus 5, plus 5. I'm actually going to fill them all in here because, so this is a plus 1, Arcana is a plus 2, because it's all going to be 1 higher, 0. And, ooh, that's off. Plus 3. Plus 4, plus 1. Sorry, I know this isn't the most exciting. The reason I'm adding it in is I don't want to write down the description of Jack of Trades, then have somebody forget it. So if I just bake it into the numbers for them, since they're just going to see this character sheet minutes before we start playing for the first time, and that's just not going to be super useful for them. And they're probably going to forget it at some point in time, then I'll feel kind of bad, because it works a whole lot better this way. So we have all that in place. Song of Rest. On a short rest, you can play a song, and everyone who uses a hit die can add an additional d6. That's fun. Basically a little bit of extra healing, since they don't really get that many healing spells, but something that they can add to it. Like I said, we're now going to go back to the entertainer background. We're going through stuff. Oh, wait, I forgot something really important. So at 3rd level, we get Bardic College and Expertise. This is what I was thinking of. Expertise. You choose two of your skill proficiencies. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check that uses either of these. We're proficient in a couple things. It has to be this. So add 2, 7. Let's just do the 2 I picked originally. I think that makes a lot of sense. Kind of gives them a tumbler sort of ability. So there's a College of Lore and a College of Valor. I think they've added another college since then to one of the books. Let me actually see. I have Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide here. That's approximately where I was reading it. Bards. So they talk about some colleges that are in the Forgotten Realms, but nothing that is like a full-on class feature that's set up. So the College of Lore is you have like a ton of different knowledge, and you get to gain cutting words. Or College of Valor, kind of like a little bit more brave and sings about mighty deeds sort of thing. I think we're going to go College of Valor. Bard, College of Valor. So back down in here, we get bonus proficiencies. When you join the College of Valor at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapon. Light and so we're actually just going to drop this here and go martial weapons. I probably should change that from 0. That makes more sense. And combat inspiration. You learn to inspire others in battle. A creature that has a bardic inspiration die from you can roll that die to add the number to damage. Alternatively, when an attack roll is made against a creature, it can use its reaction to roll the bardic inspiration die and add the number rolled to AC. After seeing the roll, but before knowing if it hits or not. Combat inspiration. Can use bardic inspired creatures can use, yeah, like that, bardic inspiration die to add to damage, or as reaction to add to AC. I'm just putting both of those things in there. Probably comes down more to myself to have to remember, oh, somebody has an inspiration die. Just roll and be like, how does it word it exactly? It's like, after seeing the roll, but no. So I'll be like, okay, I rolled a blank prior to bonuses, basically. So then I'll be like, okay, well, if I did that, I wonder something. Let me do something quick here. Drop a couple more frames, probably. All right, I just started recording again. I think the recording is recording on my system or not on YouTube's, but I hope that's the case. Otherwise, sorry to people you missed the start of stuff. Sorry, phone blowing up again constantly. But it's a situation where, yeah, live and learn. So we are doing a half-elf bard. I've already gone through, selected our proficiencies: acrobatics, history, performance, and persuasion. Quite talented character, because I was able to do a +1 in dexterity and constitution, as well as in charisma. We're of the College of Valor, which is more of a combat-focused bard. But now we are on to the point where we're going to hit up our background and entertainer. It probably won't show up correctly, but I'm fine with that. Entertainer, storyteller. Makes a ton of sense. Sorry. Phone, stop blowing up. That is too long. Let's get rid of that. Storyteller. That's the background. Easy enough. Easy peasy. So we got our proficiencies. We get another musical instrument. We're going to go put the harp back in. And we are proficient with a disguise kit. Equipment. We're going to give them a flute. Something different. Favor of an admirer. Costume. Belt pouch. And 15 gold pieces in that belt pouch. We've already kind of seen this before from when we did the monk. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. And popular demand. You can get food and lodging at places that you perform at. Really basic summary of that. Not that exciting. But let's go back to the part that's going to make it different than our monk, which is the bard is a spellcaster. And the bard gets a bunch of different spell options. 2 cantrips. Go light for one of them. Super not really that useful for a half elf to have light. However, it's really useful spell to have for the whole party. And then we should take a combat one. Vicious mockery. Make fun of them until they can't stand it anymore. Heroism, I like that one. That's a comma. Heroism. Trying to do some slightly different things. Thunderwave. Good combat one there. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. That one's just good. You just start somebody laughing and they don't stop for a while. And Fairy Fire. Also very useful combat one. So we are going to go with two second level spells. Heat Metal. Super obvious one, nice one to have. Heat Metal basically is you cast it, there's a saving throw to see if they drop whatever they're holding, but if it's a creature in plate mail, something like that, they can't drop it if you put it on the breastplate, and it's going to take them a few rounds to get out of it, and it's doing damage each round, which is just fun. And Invisibility. So something that's useful. There's a rogue in the party. Definitely cast it on the rogue. Let them sneak around. Let me double check on some of this stuff. Yeah, so Tate, if you've been listening to Dungeons and Flagons, you'll know that Tate, I think, started out with a 14 spell save. It was just ridiculous. Like, this is pretty good. Tate's was better. I think the only thing that I was going to do is, we are not proficient in this, so there I have a straight 10 on perception. Not all that great, not all that bad, but pretty solid, pretty fun actually too. So close that one down, save this one as, this is a bard. Oh, brain family now. Entertainer. Now close this and we'll open back up again. So, as I said at the beginning of today, we're doing a half-elf and a half-orc. Half-orc, most of the time when you build one, you're building it so it can stomp on stuff. It's going to be your fighter, but more likely than not, actually, it's going to be your barbarian. Super good build for that, because as an half-orc, you get +2 to strength and +1 to constitution. Really dang good. We're actually going to check on one thing really quickly here, because I know what class I want to do for it, and it's not one that I'm necessarily super familiar with, so I want to know where to put my high numbers. Okay, so this will be interesting. 14 goes there. 16 goes there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do 15 here. 10, 12, 8. First one that I've had a negative +2 in dexterity. It's a half-orc. Slow, lumbering. Makes sense. Why did I set it up like this? Why did I flip in the book? Because we're building a half-orc cleric. Yep, you heard me right. We're building a half-orc cleric. And clerics cast based off of wisdom. I could have put my 15 there, just my straight 15, but because we had no plus to wisdom, didn't make sense. Just put the 14 there. You can put the 15 here, get a bump by 1. We're now even tougher. Put our 13 there. Could have put the 12 there and put the 13 in intelligence, but no real difference in terms of modifier. So I just went with the higher number there, 12 there, 10 there, and 8 in dexterity because it's just kind of something that's different. Proficiency, we technically don't know it yet, but we know it. Half-Orcs tend to be a little bit larger, but they still have the 30-foot walking speed. Like a lot of creatures, dark vision of 60 feet. And automatically start out with proficiency in intimidation. It's kind of nice if it would have been 0 otherwise. Endless endurance. When reduced to 0 hit points, you can drop to 1 instead per long rest. So one time during the day, basically, you can stop from dying, unless you're completely outright dead. Not going to be that likely with this character. I think we're looking at, let's see, 13 plus, I think we're looking at 31 hit points for this guy. It might be higher than that too. Savage attacks. You get the idea that half-orcs are kind of stompy. If you get a critical hit with a melee weapon, you can roll the damage die 1 extra time. Fun, stompy. Half-orcs are supposed to be bigger, heavier, stronger than everybody else. And that's kind of what our guy is, our gal is. Common and Orc are the 2 languages that we speak. And now let's have some fun going into something that doesn't make a ton of sense. We have a spellcasting, healing, warrior, cleric, barbarian. Half-orc, excuse me. Not a barbarian. Half-orc. Oh, I was up wrong. We don't have as many hit points as I thought. Because we're going to start, because we're using a D8, not a D10, like I thought we might be. So we start with 8 plus 3 is 11. And then 5 plus 3 is 8. 16 plus 11 is 27. Still higher than most our guys. Proficient with light and medium armor, shields, all simple weapons. That's kind of lame. No martial weapons for us, I guess. At least to start out with. We have our saving throws, our wisdom and charisma. +2, -1, +3, +1, +4, +2. Solid. Solid all around. We can choose 2 from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Religion, we're going to take that one. Makes too much sense. And history. Kind of funny just to have him be really knowledgeable. That's a +3, +2, +3. I didn't pick any. I think we probably had I don't know that we had any wisdom-based skills in there, which is kind of odd because wisdom should be the highest for your cleric. So we have a choice between a mace or a warhammer if proficient. We're not proficient with that because I don't believe the Half-Orc gives us any weapon proficiencies. It does not. So we're going to go with a mace, scale armor, light crossbow and 20 bolts, or a simple weapon. We're going to go crossbow, 20 bolts. Priest or explorer's pack. We're going to go with the priest's pack, as well as a shield and a holy symbol. Going to be fairly hard to hit, but not super tough. So let's just do our spell casting numbers so we get that down. I could write it down, but I'm going to do the note on here like last time so it's easier to see. At 3rd level, we know 3 cantrips. So I'm just going to do a 3 here. We have 4 spell slots on the 1st level, 2 on the 2nd level. This means that we know an interesting number of spells somehow. Preparing and casting spells. The cleric table shows how many spell slots you have to cast spells at 1st level and higher. To cast one of these spells, you must expend a spell or a slot of the spell's level or higher. You regain expended slots when you finish a long rest. You prepare a list of cleric spells that are available for you to cast, choosing or when you do so, choose the number of cleric spells equal to your wisdom modifier plus your cleric level. So wisdom modifier is +2, cleric level is 3. We know 5 spells. So I'm just going to leave that there. Now we're a wisdom-based casting class. Our spell save DC is going to be 12. 8 plus our proficiency modifier plus our wisdom bonus. And our attack is going to be a plus $sign, +4. Again, wisdom plus proficiency modifier. So we have that set up now, and we actually get to choose a domain at 1st level. Like looking through what we have a channel divinity, a divine domain feature, and probably a divine domain feature from the start as well that are going to give us some additional abilities. But let's go back here. So before I pick the divine domain, I am going to do the channel divinity. At 2nd level, you gain the ability to channel divine energy directly from your deity using the energy to fuel magical effects. You start with 2 such effects: Turn Undead and an effect determined by your domain. So let's just put down Turn Undead. Turn Undead. So that undead creatures in 30 feet of you make Wiz saving throw. If failed, Must move as far away as possible. And can't take reaction for 1 minute unless dealt damage. So it's kind of a fear effect sort of thing, but they can't call it a fear effect because you're a cleric, you're supposed to be good. So we have that in place. Now I'm going to go look at our different domains. We have a knowledge domain. We have life domain, and we have light domain, and we have nature domain. Oh my goodness. Tempest domain, trickery domain, war domain. It has to be war domain. It has to be. So we have proficiency with armor, all simple, and martial weapons. We're going war domain. This is getting changed because it comes on the first level. We're not starting at level 0 characters for this. We're starting at level 3, so we're just going straight for the Warhammer here. Cleric of the war domain makes way too much sense for a barbarian, or half-orc, excuse me. So half-orc, like this isn't a super weird combination yet. I might try and pick an interesting background for it. Oh, sorry. War priest. I broke my game. When you use the attack action, you can make one weapon attack a bonus action. You can use up to 2 times between long rests. Okay, so it's not as broken as I thought. Basically, a lot of things get a second attack, but not until higher levels, like 5th. So I was like, ugh, if he can just consistently have a second attack, oh boy. Now let me do the little underline thing so I can mark it off. And I'm actually going to go, no, channel divinity. Or they get a guided strike. Starting at 2nd level, you may use your channel divinity to strike with supernatural accuracy. When you make an attack roll, you can use your channel divinity to gain +10 to the roll. You make this choice after you see the roll, but before the DM says the attack hits or misses. Add +10 to an attack roll. Make a choice after seeing roll, but before you know if it hits. They're probably going to have a good idea anyways. Their initiative bonus is terrible, so they're going to have to roll high to beat a lot of people, and then they're going to have an idea of what sort of level they need to hit. Clerics do not get anything at 3rd level, so it's kind of a little bit more front-loaded for them, but it's nothing too strong, too overpowered, anything like that. So let's look at some backgrounds again. We have Acolyte, Charlatan, oh, Charlatan could be fun. Criminal, Entertainer, Folk Hero, Guild Artisan, Hermit, Noble, Outlander, Sage, Sailor. We're gonna do a Sage. It's really against type for a half-orc. Oh yeah. Sage Astronomer. Why wouldn't they be? That's kind of fun. And they get Arcana. That's just weird. And they also get History. I think that came from... I think I have an option to choose something else up here. This poor book. Yep, and sorry for hitting that. We're going to do Persuasion as well. Persuasion's a +2. Arcana's a +3. They have nothing that is... It's like all intelligence and charisma based stuff. Going to be really knowledgeable in the game. They get to learn 2 more languages. Gnomish and Elvish. Makes sense. Kind of. I'm just kind of picking stuff. Ink, Quill, Small Life, Letter, Posing Question, Common Clothes, Belt, Pouch, and net 10 gold pieces. Our Sage has the ability here known as Researcher. If you don't know an answer, you know where to find it. It basically boils down to that. I'm trying to think. I believe Nim's a sage in Dungeons and Dragons, and so when she doesn't know something, it hasn't come into play so much. Yes, because generally somebody's rolled well enough. But if nobody knew something, I'd be like, okay, well, you don't know where it is or what it is, but you know where to find it, sort of thing. It's like, okay, this is useful information for you, but it's going to take you time to find that information. So let's look at our Cleric spells. This is the first time I've ever actually really looked at Cleric spells before. Well, I guess we're going to go in order in the book. So let's get our armor set up. Oh wait, that's right. We have the ability now, because we are proficient in it, to pick that chainmail, which is going to be better for us. As a war domain guy, it makes sense now why they have those there to start out with. Armor class is going to be 16, +2 for your shield, 18. That's tough to hit. Weapons, Warhammer, and light crossbow. Almost fits. So close. Why are you not doing this? Why do you do this to me? We'll just do crossbow. It's a light crossbow. I'll actually make the note down here instead. Light crossbow. There, now we can tell the difference. So, crossbow, light crossbow, heavy crossbows, impressive. Light crossbow is not bad either. It is not... Let me check some stuff here. Range. It's not a finesse weapon, so we're going to say it's strength plus 2. So we're proficient plus 4. So that's 1d8 plus 4. Oh, good job, me. Piercing damage from that. And a Warhammer, obviously going to be strength. Plus 4. And 1d8 plus 4. Bludgeoning damage. Hammer 2. Warhammer 2. I'm just gonna adjust that. Get rid of that space so we guarantee it fits. You can use it two-handed. You lose the shield bonus, but you get 1d10 plus 4 of bludgeoning damage again. If you are using Warhammer 2, your AC goes down by 2. As you are using it two-handed. So we have our gear, we have our background, passive perception. We're not proficient in it, so it's just going to be a 12. That's so light compared to some of the others, but I like this guy or gal. It's fun. Kind of, they broke their normal life choices as a paladin or as a half-orc to be like, no, I want to set up my life in a better way, and have been studying ever since. Mending. Spare the dying. I think Sacred Flame is an attack. I'm going to double check that. But it's nice. I guess for this character, it's less important to have that spell, but it's handy. So it's like a 60-foot range. You can send radiant damage down on them that they can make a save and completely save out of, or take 1d8 damage. Cure wounds. They're our healer. Shield of Faith. I like that one. And I think I'm going to go with a third one down here as well. Healing Word. So we have Cure Wounds and we have Healing Word. Why double up on it? I'm not sure that I'm going to, but I want to see. Cure Wounds. A creature you touch regains a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier. But you have to touch them. My guess is, if I look at Healing Word now, it's going to heal less. Healing Word. A creature of choice you can see within range gains 1d4 plus your spellcasting modifier. So I'm going to leave both in there, give the player an option kind of thing. Like you can either have a touch somebody for more, or do it from further distance. And then second level, Spiritual Weapon. Spiritual Weapon is really nice. Something that I haven't talked about with spells, and I'll briefly touch on it now, but I'm going to do a recording on it, is some spells require concentration. You can't cast another concentration spell while you have that spell going. If you do, you drop that first spell. Now, damage can also get rid of your concentration, as can other things. However, the spiritual weapon, even though it's around for a minute, does not require concentration. You can move it. You make an attack roll, spell melee attack, so you'd add +4 to it, not bad. And it does 1d8 plus 4. The fun part about this is following turns, it's a bonus action to do so. So you attack with your regular action. Then you move the spiritual weapon to wherever it needs to be, next to the bad guy, and you can move it 20 feet, then you attack again. So now all of a sudden you're doing 2 attacks. You can even have your shield up and be doing 1d8 damage potentially twice, which is really quite good. So yeah, that is our Cleric. A beefy, smashy, astronomy, half-orc Cleric. Save as a Cleric Sage. Now, just looking at the time, it's 5:30 basically. So I am going to call it good. I've been going for about an hour. Tomorrow I'm going to come back. We're going to do a tiefling. I think that, and tiefling and another one creature, and that's going to finish it off for my first game. Now my second game, I'm going to come through and you're going to see something a little bit different. Here I've been building characters that are unique characters, but not a particular focus towards them. For the other game, you're going to notice something different. I might have 1, maybe 2. So I guess I should say I'm going to make 10 again. So for that way I have twice as many as there are people. I'm going to have but it's a pirate themed game. So for pirates, basically everyone is going to get the sailor background. There might be 2 or 3 that don't, but they're going to be set up to be something very different somehow. Like since we're not on a ship, we're on the pirate island of Barbuga, maybe I'll do a cleric there. Cleric of Trickery seems to make sense for pirates who'll have like an entertainer's background sort of thing. That's why the pirates come to his place. But everybody else is going to have a sailor background. You're going to see probably a fair amount of rogue, of monk, fighter, stuff like that. And I'm going to pick stuff, and there's even in, again, this book, there is a swashbuckler. Swashbuckler, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that it's this book. There is a swashbuckler somewhere out there. Which one does it fall under? But probably can use the somewhere in here. Rogues, swashbuckler. That is fun. It's built for kind of being the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride, that sort of thing. So we'll definitely run one of those, and I might even do in here a sorcerer as well, a storm sorcerer, because who doesn't want someone who has a bunch of spells that can control weather when you're on a ship? Seems like be pretty good. Now for this, I'm going to be running characters that are I'm not sure what level I'm going to be running them at. Probably third. I don't think lower than third for it. But I might cut out some abilities that I'm just like, who's going to need them? So let me zoom in. So like, researcher, take that out. Clean it up, because this game, the Pirates game, I'm intentionally targeting what I'm doing towards a potentially younger audience. It's supposed to be a fun game. I think it's called The Pirates of Barbuga, or Where Has All the Rum Gone? It's not going to be your typical let's kill the monster. I mean, there'll be that aspect, but it's not going to be what I would consider a typical one-shot game where you probably have a couple of combats, one smaller one bigger one, and you have a trap of some sort and maybe a social interaction to start it out with. It's not going to be that sort of game. It's going to be a whole lot more social. It's going to be much more lighthearted and goofy. I'm going to read through, well, I'm not going to read through, I've read through Tintin books so many times. If you're not familiar with Tintin books, it's a comic book from the, I don't even remember what years, but it's from a while back. Racist, definitely, at times. Which doesn't sound like a glowing review of it. However, they're a good way to get kids to read, and entertaining to do so. Good story, and it's something that as a parent, like when I have kids, if I have kids, I'll let my kids read them, just with the understanding like, okay, yeah, this is really awkward and racist, versus something beyond that. Anywho, getting back to my original point for talking about them, I just wanted to put that disclaimer in there, so if somebody goes and picks those up, they're like, oh my goodness, this is so offensive, or something like that. But getting back to my original point, there is a sea captain in there, Captain Haddock, who uses a ton of wonderful, colorful terms. 10,000 thundering typhoons, billions of blue blistering barnacles. Those are the two that I remember. He screws them up from time to time, stuff like that. So that's going to be the type of stuff that's going to be used in that game. It's going to be like the Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, Where Has All My Rum Gone sort of thing. So those characters, I'm going to cut out what I consider not useful for those games. I'm going to probably focus in a little bit more on those skills and set it up with the ones that are going to be more useful. I'm not necessarily going to load it up so everybody has perception, investigation, persuasion, that sort of thing, but I'm going to focus in, I'm not going to give somebody randomly medicine. Medicine isn't going to be all that useful in that game. I don't think I'm giving anybody medicine here, but I'd be more apt to here, just because I'm hoping at this level with this game, we might have more experienced players. If not, hopefully we'll have a couple of them that can be a little bit more creative off of a sheet. But otherwise, Nerdologists.com is all about teaching people how to play Dungeons and Dragons, teaching people about what various nerdy things are, where to jump into Doctor Who, where to start reading comic books, like who are the different heroes that you can decide on to read about and stuff like that. And so we'll see how the games go. We'll definitely report back. I'm going to be bringing my laptop. I don't know that I'm going to have time to stream, but if there is time, I might stream from the hotel, just for the heck of it. But anyways, that is going to be all for this time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday, October 14th, 2016, for anybody watching in the future. But thank you to people who watch this, Eventually, I hope somebody will, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about stuff, please comment below. I know that my lighting is really bad right now. I want to change the angle that stuff's at, and that is going to happen coming up here. And we're going to have a nice nerdier background on stuff, but it just hasn't happened yet because I've been lazy and I've been doing this for about a week. So without further ado, peace.